evening all. It's June 17th, 2025, 6:30 PM. This is a meeting of the Zoning Board of Appeals in the Board of Selectmen's meeting room. I'm going to call this meeting to order as it is 6:30. First order of business this evening is to approve the minutes from April 29th, 2025.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes.
There's a motion.
Second.
And a second. All those in favor? So moved.
Yeah.
I don't,
Oh, yeah.
we do have meeting mail, just so you guys are aware. And it pertains to the first case we have coming up. If anybody doesn't have it in front of them, it's just
Yeah.
on the case 2025-0520A. I'll read it when we get into it. We'll get right into that, and then I'll read it. That way there we can open the discussion on that case. So that's gonna put us right back to old business and our public hearings. And I would like to open a public hearing on case 2025-0520A, continued from May 20th, 2025. It's a case of Meet in the Middle LLC for property located at 474 Middle Road, map 23, lot 1, area 27.4 acres, seeking a special permit for proposed storage warehouse. I'm not gonna go on any further because our meeting mail is a letter from them in the Middle LLC. After considering the input received on May 20th, 25 public hearing for the above referenced petition, we have decided to reevaluate our proposal to create a storage warehouse building on the subject property. At this time, we are reviewing our options with the zoning enforcement officer as well as our engineer to arrive at a new option for utilizing our property on Middle Road. Based on the redirection, we respectfully request a withdrawal without prejudice of our application for special permit. So I'm going to ask you guys to make a motion to allow the withdrawal without prejudice.
I'll make a motion to allow the withdrawal without prejudice.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Okay, so that takes care of that and puts us into our new business. And our first public hearing this evening under new business,
What's this?
case 02025.06.17A.
We approve that.
The case of John Leonard for property located at 195 Perry Hill Road, map 8, lot 22. Area is 2.55 acres, seeking a special permit for the operation of a retail store with adequate off-street parking pursuant to section 331B11 of the town bylaws. In addition, a variance is also required to permit an oversized sign pursuant to section 36C1. So what I'm getting at from the application is that there's a name change on the business, and I guess they're looking for a sign. Is there a representative here this evening? Please come up to the podium and let us know what's going on here.
Sure. Good evening, my name is John Leonard, and I'm the owner of J&S Guns and Ammo. And we've had a business in town for the last 13 years, and I stopped my S-Corp and just went to a DBA, so we just wanted to take the INC off the name of the business. And in the meantime, we de-identified our business signage on the property to make it look more conducive to the neighborhood. We're not going to apply for a sign to put up on the building. I just have a door sign on the side that says open and closed, and then we have a small sign, probably the size of this podium base that we have in the stone wall, which I know you know what it looks like, so.
Nope.
Nope, okay.
Other than that,
Can you give me a square footage for the sign?
Uh,
If it, 2 by 3 would be 6 square feet?
Yeah. It's, no, it's a standard, like a sign that you would have for a, for sale sign, you know, like a for sale sign, when you put a for sale sign up for a house. It sticks in the ground 3 by 3 maybe?
3 by 3, so 9 square feet?
Yeah.
Because we're gonna vote on it, so we should put a
Absolutely.
square footage in it so that you're covered and we're covered.
Absolutely. That's it.
9 square feet?
Yep. And that's in the stone wall.
Okay.
And the doors are painted black. They're just plain black doors.
Oh, it's already there?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's on. Well, just one like it.
Okay.
That's what he's talking about.
Changing the sign because of the name change?
Correct.
Okay. Do you have any questions for Mr. Leonard before I seek public opinion?
I don't have any questions. It's been going on, that business has been going on there, and it's tight.
What are you changing the name to, if I could ask, just curious?
J&S Guns.
So it's gonna be just...
Yeah, just-
Minus the
Yeah.
ink.
Yeah.
To me, I have no issue with it at all.
Is there any abutters who want to talk on this for or against or otherwise? Okay, so again, I think this is a simple case. He does have to come before us because of the name change, but it doesn't seem there's going to be any changes, no other changes to the business, right? You're going to run it the same way it has been, and
Has been.
I've never had any complaints from it, so.
There's a sign limited square foot, but I know it's not that.
Not that small.
Yeah, it's a little bigger than that, if I remember right.
It sounds fine, so
Yeah. I'm good.
in the motion, I would like to just say that we're, if we approve this, what we're doing is we're accepting the operation of the retail store with adequate parking off-street and the name change and a sign up to 9 square feet. Is there a motion?
I make a motion.
Is there a second?
Yeah, I'll second.
There's a motion and a second to accept the petitioner's request. All in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much. Thank you, gentlemen.
All right, have a good night.
Everybody.
John?
You gotta just see him for the paperwork. I'm gonna give him 2 seconds while we read over the next. Okay. That aside, that aside. Everybody has in front of him the cease and desist letter.
Which one was that? This is the question?
Your signature right there.
Number 9 on the third
That
of
was nice and easy.
Yes, thank you very much.
And so this is going to go through an appeal period.
Mhm.
After that, you'll be all set to go make the changes.
Now, you wanna get a copy of that submitted?
No, actually, you're going to be getting, actually, you're going to go to
It's
the
the
town
second
clerk.
one down.
Oh, really? Yeah.
After 20 days.
Second.
20-day waiting period commences from the date of this decision, and then you go to the town clerk's office, but across the street, there's a town. Yep, exactly.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, thank you, gentlemen.
See any salvage yards, any business village, anywhere.
No, this came up once before, and it was saying it was a contract, they were saying it was a contract job. Clearly it's not, it doesn't go in there.
Okay, that's gonna bring us to our next case. Case 2025.06.17B, case of 3 Kings Marine LLC for property located at 42 South Main Street, map 15, lot 271, and Savigny Street, map 15, lot 270. The petitioner is appealing a letter from the building commissioner to cease and desist all activity on the premise. Is somebody here to talk this case?
Jonathan Roy and my brother Conrad Roy. So we received the letter stating that we were operating an automotive salvage yard out of the property, and that's false information. We own a marine towing and salvage company. The salvage is marine salvage, which is the recovery of sunken vessels. In 4/23/18, I submitted a site plan to the town with the prior building inspector, which with that and the Board of Health was approved. Our site plan is a little bit off, but it's pretty close to what we have going on right now. We use the property for storage of our salvage equipment that we use for our marine business.
I have been by, you also store salvage product there, not just your equipment.
Well, that could be, I mean, we could argue that because the stuff that we use is parts for our boats, parts for our equipment.
Okay, so you are allowed 100 feet, I'm sorry, 300 feet off of Main Street to run a business. The business has to be something that is allowed by the town's bylaws. A salvage yard is not one of those things allowed. Well, I'm not aware of what you got in 4/20/18, so I'd like you to show that to me if you don't mind.
Okay, I did, I think you guys have a copy of this. This is just a larger copy of it.
Yeah, I do like that.
So these containers are dumpsters and whatnot.
They're storage containers and dumpsters, yeah.
You have a copy of something you said you were allowed to have a salvage yard over here?
We're not calling it I'm not calling it a salvage yard.
What do you
so
do with dumpster materials? It's salvage,
we use them for
it's
storage.
rubbish,
We're using them for storage.
Storage of what?
Is it a
Equipment.
dumpster or is it a container?
We have both. We use the dumpsters for transporting our equipment from Acushnet to the waterfront where we work out of.
So the stuff that's in the container is equipment?
So right here.
Most of it
Right
is,
here,
yes.
when you- there's a big pile of trash
Right.
right there. You can see it right from the road, because I went up the other day.
Yeah.
Like I said, I went up, I stayed out on the road because there was nobody there. I didn't want to walk on the property. But you can see it right there.
And that's the point I'm trying to make, is you're not just storing things that are used to salvage your boats or do this. You have trash there. You've got stuff that has no...
We have been cleaning up. So our father was the business owner. My brother and I just recently inherited it, and we've been going through a lot of things that our father had saved before.
My issue with this is I side with the building department knowing how many chances he gives. Like, I know he didn't just say cease and desist because he wanted to shut you down. I know that his routine is generally go out there and say, we gotta clean this up, we gotta clean that up, we gotta do this, we gotta do this, this is what you're allowed, this is what you're not. And I would assume that he only gave you a cease and desist because he wasn't getting done what needed to be done to clean up that property.
We had a cement truck on the property.
Mhm.
He asked us to remove that and do a little cleanup. We've done that in the past. And, you know, as far as any automotive stuff there, we don't have any. We have no vehicles there except for once in a while we park our roll-off truck there.
So,
Yeah, that usually happens in front. I mean,
And
I would
we
also,
have,
I don't know how,
Yeah.
excuse me, I don't know what it is. I've been told they're supposed to have a 50-foot setback from the property line all the way around. It clearly is not that.
what's that?
50-foot setback from all the property lines all the way around.
Okay, what we've just done, like in the last week, or more than than last week, but this is the front of the property now. Our gate hasn't come in yet, but we put a fence, up, and that's the side. And then this is the side street where this trees.
That's Laura Key.
Yeah. So, I mean,
We had a neighbor that came into the yard the other day, and George LeBeau was right across the street. He said, I hope you guys win, because you guys are hardly ever here. You don't bother anybody, and he likes the way it looks. Okay.
It does look cleaner than I'm
Yeah,
in my head.
yeah.
Yes, I've noticed the change over the last.
So we're gonna keep cleaning it up.
Working on it.
It's just like,
I'd like to hear from some abutters.
I'll let us, yeah. Okay.
Because it's my understanding that this, from the street here in 300 feet is what? It's supposed to be a contractor's yard where it's reusable items and not, and like I said, I went over here.
That's
you can
what
see
we're
it.
doing.
You can
It's
see it in the
reusable
back.
items.
Okay,
we got rid of two 40-yard dumpsters of junk.
And it does sound like you're fixing the situation, but I've been driving by for 10 years. It has been kind of a scrapyard.
We haven't been there for 10 years.
But it's, well, since the, as you say, cement mixer has been,
Yeah.
it hasn't looked.
Well, that was
like-
honestly
At least
a
5
piece
to
of
7.
equipment that we use, because we do marine construction also, and it's for foundations for Coast Guard navigation lights. We'd put it on a barge, and like, sometimes cement on the ocean takes a long time, it'll cure like too quickly, so we mix it wet. When you take it dry, and mix it wet up there.
I am gonna, I think we've got this, we've got the information, we've got this. I'm gonna just talk to the butters and see how we're doing over there now, okay?
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any abutters who'd like to speak on this? Please. If you could come to the podium and just give us your name and address.
My name is Gary Poole, and I'm on South Main in Francis Street, basically maybe 200, 300 yards south of them. From the beginning, I didn't have much concern outside the groundwater. They're telling me that they're clearing that out. I don't know if I believe that or not, but that's one. The second thing is, it was nothing, and I've lived here for over 40 years. It was nothing but a junkyard. I mean, if you looked across the street at that property, everything there looked like junk, pure junk, and there's no standing back at that word. That's what it was. Whether they say it was ships, they say it was this, it was that, it was junk. I mean, if I was the guy across the street at the trailer park trying to sell my property like he is right now, and you look across the street and you see what you see, you're not gonna sell the property. I mean, I'm not gonna tell you it's gonna diminish property values, but I'm gonna tell you it's a sore spot. And it's been a sore spot for me since they started. So just my opinion, doesn't mean much, but I'm not,
It does to us.
I'm not pleased with it. So, sorry guys.
Sorry.
I'm Michelle Poole and his wife, same address.
I just saw you at Town Fair, didn't I?
That place, I've had to take 2 rat's nests from my engine of my vehicle because that's what is attracting that. They just put up 2 sections of fence and then they put a trailer in the middle. That's not complete fencing. And that was ordered but to them 3 years ago, I want to say. Nothing was ever done. And last week, towards the end of the week, I don't know when this order was stated, 3 or 4 trailers went out of there. Today, they had a backhoe working all morning long. Why are they allowed when the order was presented? They don't follow the rules.
Okay. Anybody else?
My name is Steve McNamara, Lawson Avenue on Acushnet. My property abuts what we call the dump, it abuts that property. And you said before, the building department gave us a cease and desist order, but they've been working there right along. Every day there's something going on. I can hear it. So if they weren't allowed to work, why is there something going on? Machinery, I can't see what it is, but I know I've seen backhoes in there. And I just don't understand why there's something going on if they're not supposed to be working there.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else want to have input? All right, so I'm going to ask you gentlemen to come back so we can talk about, I assume this backhoe and this work has been to further clean up?
Yes, that is
Not doing
correct.
ongoing work?
Yes.
I don't know. I don't think I have enough information this evening for myself to decide whether or not the business you've been running over there is completely legit or not. It does sound like the dump needs to get cleaned up. I'm hearing you gentlemen say that that's what you're doing. I don't know if we want to entertain a motion to allow these guys to continue cleaning up till our next meeting, and then discuss with the building inspector and these guys what an allowable use is, what a non-allowable use is, and see if we can resolve this situation and make it so that it is a working business, clean with fences around and not a dump.
It would be the best for everybody to cleaning it up.
Well, that's the thing, with the cease and desist, I'm hearing the neighbors saying they shouldn't be doing anything, but at the same time,
Right.
I'm hearing that they're trying to make it better, so.
Yeah, it makes sense to do that.
Would
Are we allowed to have a motion that they
At the end,
continue for cleaning purposes only?
Correct, that's all I'm looking
And
for.
then we go to like a site
Real
quick
quick,
visit, because you
at
can't
the-
see anything because of
at
the
the
way it's
end
grown
of
up.
the
We can go
April
out and
4th
check it out.
letter
and walk on the
from,
property, whether they're there or not.
We can,
I mean, I don't
yeah,
like to walk on somebody's property.
hold on. At the end of the April 4th letter from Andy Papola, the last line says, "The removal of equipment must be completed within 30 calendar days from the date of this order
Yeah.
to avoid fines and court action." So that was April
That
4th,
was
that gives you
April
to
4th.
May
May
4th.
4th.
Obviously, we've
Yeah.
gone a month over
Right.
that as well.
Right.
So, you know, if they've been working the last month, it's gone past that. And I know it takes time to get us to get through all of our paperwork and stuff on meetings and stuff.
My position is that the mess is already there. It sounds like it's getting better. It doesn't mean we're gonna allow the continued use of it, but we might as well
Let the
see the
cleanup.
continued cleanup of
So
it.
what about thinking about allowing the 60 days to give them a little more time? Because right now, between the landfills being burnt down and things getting ready, and it's busy season, summertime.
And
It's
honestly,
time.
I asked till the next meeting, knowing it's 60 days just about.
Okay.
We don't
Okay.
have a meeting for July,
Oh, okay,
so it would be August, so.
to give a fair amount of time.
I would say until our next meeting,
And
we allow them clean up only, no bringing stuff in for salvage, out for salvage, any of that. But the continued use, or the continued cleanup of your property so that you can prove to the building inspector and to this board that the business you're operating over there isn't junk, and that the things we go over there and do an inspection, we're gonna say, yes, obviously this stuff is needed for what they do, they're keeping it behind fences and cleaned up, and the neighbors are happy with, that it isn't no longer a junkyard.
So, can I just add something? So, I would add to it that is their tools. So during the day, they might have to bring a roll-off in with pumps and whatever they're doing to, actually, that's their tools they use, and clean up. So you can't really just limit it just to clean up and then lock their tools in there. They need those tools, depends, it might be a shipwreck tomorrow night, who
That's
knows?
up to you, gentlemen.
Can I just say one more thing about the cleanup that we've been doing? That, I came and spoke with Andy and I said, can we clean this up before the hearing? And he said, absolutely, I think that would help the situation.
Okay.
So that's why we've been working there lately, but most of the time, we don't even work there. So, we would like to get the property cleaned up and, continue to work out of there with a safe and clean environment.
Yeah, because I think you're gonna have to do something if they're complaining about rodents and stuff.
Yeah,
which
the one
That's
thing-
what
I've
that
never,
will
I've never
attract.
seen a rodent, I've only seen,
There's
Rabbits
bunnies,
there.
there's bunnies
I've
and
never seen
and
a
everything
rat.
else over there, but I've never seen a
I've seen
rat.
about 8 deer, but you can't call them rodents.
That's-
Right in the
that's
middle-
true.
Right in the middle of your yard.
That's true.
Dunk in my yard,
They
too.
could just have like a pest control, put a couple traps out or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know
Just
what the,
to-
I don't know what
Again,
the.
totally up to you,
requirements are. I
gentlemen.
don't know what the requirements
It's an ongoing business, has been there.
Yeah.
It seemed that it got out of hand. It seems these gentlemen are kind of taking it over. I'd like to give them a 2-month
All right.
trial to prove themselves and come back before us, and not only to prove to us, but to prove to their neighbors that they can be good neighbors. And hopefully, they'll come back and not tell us they want you shut down.
I would
because-
appreciate that opportunity.
All right, so
Is there a
I'll make a motion that we allow you to, next 60 days or next meeting, which is approximately 60 days, to continue to clean up. And also, if you need to get your tools to go to work, you have the ability to do that.
Okay.
60 days to be a good neighbor and to have us talk with the building inspector and see what the allowed use is, and we'll get back to you on that, and hopefully you can comply with that and you can keep doing what you need to do. Not, keep a mess that your neighbors have to deal with.
Understood.
So,
All right, I'll second.
this,
You made a motion.
and the motion, so, in a second?
Yeah, I'll second.
And all in favor?
Yep.
So this is a continuance, okay? This isn't,
Yep.
we're not overturning the building inspector's decision. We're not allowing you to do anything. What we're saying is we're gonna come back in 2 months. You guys have to come back. And until then, we're gonna, during that time, we'll get to the bottom of it. Okay?
Thank you, gentlemen.
All right.
Jonathan or Conrad, I need you to sign something. So this is the continuation of the...
Continuation, thank you.
So it's gonna be August 19th. This is, you know, you can sign that. You'll work on it. All right, thank you.
Real quick.
Okay. Our next case, case 2025.06.17C. The case of Laurie Elias for property located at 199 Leonard Street, map 19, lots 29B and 30A1.
No,
Continuous.
The applicant requests a variance from the zoning bylaws, section 331A, to temporarily have two single-family dwellings on the property for a period of 1 year or until the occupancy permit is issued for the new dwelling. The applicant requests that the ZBA allow her to relocate that existing mobile home on the property so she can continue to live in it while the new house is constructed, at which point she will remove it from site. Mr. Davina, looks like you're on this one.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman and board members. Good evening, everybody. I'm here representing Laurie Elias. She's my sister-in-law, so I know the project very well. I know the property very well. So I've given you smaller versions of what I have up on the board, so that you can understand what we're trying to do. I find this very straightforward, what we're trying to do, and I think we're here just over a small technicality. The property is slightly more than 78,000 square feet, 78,265 square feet in size. It's shaped like an hourglass, has frontage along Leonard Street, and then it kind of narrows down and then it opens back up in the rear. One of the plans I'm giving to you is, it's actually a two-sheet set of site plan septic design. The concept is to remove the mobile home and replace it with a conventional stick-built house, colonial house, 28 by 38 in size, with a breezeway and a 24 by 30 garage. The garage would have an ADU unit above it. It would meet the new state law for the size of that ADU unit, being no larger than 900 square feet. It's actually 720 square feet. So The house is going to be located in the same location as the existing, which I show, you can see on one of the plans where the mobile home is located. We intend to build in that same location. We're able to meet the zoning setbacks on the left and the right side. Rear is not an issue, and obviously frontage is not an issue. So they anticipate the house to take anywhere from 6 months to a year to build, depending on how things move along. And Laurie's son, Ryan, and his wife, Kristen, and their child, Cameron, will be building the house, and then Laurie's gonna live above the garage and the ADU. So they're actually gonna, intent is to sell their house, put it on the market, maybe even tomorrow. Then when they sell it, they're all gonna move in like a happy family, living in the mobile home to the south.
Might not need that apartment.
Sure you want to do that, Ryan?
So,
Scratch the apartment.
so you can see the green here, it would be the mobile home pulled off its a slab foundation and then relocated temporarily in that location. Then we would rehook the septic pipe and keep the septic system in use and reconnect to the water line, which comes from the well in the back, so that it's fully functional temporarily until the new house is built. There will be a period at the end where the mobile home has to be removed, the septic has to be decommissioned, and the new septic has to go in before they can get an occupancy permit, but that would be at the very, very end of the project. Septic system will be located right in front of the house. We've done perk tests. His plan's been submitted to Board of Health for approval. The technicality that I say is the existing mobile home, if it was 900 square feet, this could be considered the ADU, and we could apply just for a building permit for the house, and then remove the trailer and apply to finish the ADU above the garage later. That was Andy's idea, but it doesn't work because the mobile home is over the 900 square feet. I think it's 970 or something like that, or 955. So technically, it's too large, so we are here for a variance to have two dwellings on the property at the same time. Together with, this house is gonna be built legally with the ADU in the house, but having this on the property technically is a violation of zoning. But it would be a temporary setup, less than a year until they get an occupancy permit. And then obviously it has to be removed in order to put the septic system in, so it's fail-safe as far as granting a variance.
Technically, even though there'll be two and a half dwellings there, you can only occupy one at a time.
Only one can be used.
Understood. Is there anybody from the audience wants to speak on this? You guys have any more questions? Pretty cut and dry.
Pretty straightforward.
And
Is there a motion?
Make a motion that we allow the temporary permit for the two dwellings on the piece of property
For up to 1 year.
for up to 1 year or until the occupancy permit is issued.
Well, again, he stated himself he can't get the occupancy permit
Right.
until the septic's in.
Right.
So, until time, I think a year's enough time. to be
I
honest with you.
second it.
Okay. 1 year. There's a motion and a second. Question?
no,
All in favor?
All in favor?
okay,
So,
yeah.
thank you.
All right, good luck.
Hey, Dave?
You're on a roll tonight, Mark.
Keep it going.
Last one was the other, this one is-
Okay, our last case number 2025.06.17D. Case of MD South Coast Properties LLC, property located at 72 Mill Road, map 24, lot 35. The applicant requests a variance from section 337C standards tract size requirement for the property containing a minimum of 150 feet on a public way. This property contains 141.97 feet of frontage on Middle Road, a public way, which is short, 8.03 feet of minimum requirement. You are representing here?
Yes, sir.
Okay?
Thank you once again, in case somebody's joining early or late to the meeting. I'm Dave DeVignan from Schneider, DeVignan Leone, and I represent the property owners. I believe most of the crowd is here in support. I may be wrong, but we'll see later, I take it. So this property is located a couple doors north of the police station on Middle Road. 72 is the address. The house is squished really up right tight to the road and tight to this, what I have highlighted in pink is a right-of-way. This is a right-of-way that was laid out through a planning board plan years and years ago. There's an existing gravel road that traverses about a third of the way through. The site is 5.56 acres in size. It meets the minimum threshold for doing what they would like to do, which is an over 55 development. The so we have 4.33 acres of upland, so more than 80% is upland. This green line represents a wetland line that was flagged and surveyed. There is one glitch to them moving forward with a over 55 development, which would require site plan review by the planning board under the bylaws. This project would also require Conservation Commission approval for anything that would be within 100 feet of the wetland resource areas. And we do have actually an off-site rivers, a stream as well, so there's a 200-foot riverfront boundary that's affiliated with the property as well. It also would require down the road a stormwater permit from the Conservation Commission. But the lone glitch is that the frontage has to have 150 feet of frontage along a public way, and we're short just over 5%. We have 141.97. And we can't really do anything about that. The property line along this way is down the center of the way. We don't own beyond that. And then there's an existing house to the south.
The plan shows 110 feet.
Correct.
That's because
There's two
that's
dimensions.
to the center, or to the side of that right away?
No, there's two dimensions. The 11040 is from the northerly boundary, which is the center of that way, to
Yeah.
the curvature, to the concrete bound, and then there's another 3157 south of that. That's why.
Okay.
That's why we put total.
I see it.
That's why we added them up.
141.9,
For
okay.
simplicity, it made the total frontage at 141.97.
I see it.
So with the approval of the variance, this is the concept that we have laid out. There would be 6 duplex units, 12 total, be an over 55 development, be a paved roadway with cul-de-sac. We would have a water main brought in for fire protection. Sewer is available 2 lots down at the manhole in front of the police station, and we intend to tap into that and bring a line so that we're serviced by sewer as well. There'd be a stormwater pond downhill. All the stormwater would be treated before it's dispersed off-site. This development meets all of the criteria for what the planning board developed, I think about 2 years ago, for the over 55. All the buildings have to be 40 feet apart. They have to be 50 feet off of all property lines, so we're 50 from this boundary. We're 50 off of this road layout. They're all 40 apart. So we have just a little bit of wetlands here, and then the wetlands are way off to the east. So the development works. This would be an improvement for this property owner. The gravel road, he would then now get a 20-foot wide paved road with Cape Cod berms. This property would also get the improvement of being able to use that new road. So we don't view it as a negative to anybody. But again, you know, when you look at the bylaw, in order to move ahead with the project, we need a variance for that frontage. And
So all the existing dwellings and buildings on that property are gonna be removed, and you're gonna go with the 55 and over. I know the town's like wanting and looking for projects like this. I don't know, I mean, 141 versus 150 feet, that's again up to you guys, but I don't see a lot of negative impact here. I do wanna ask abutters and general public, as we always do, with their opinion maybe. Is there anybody who'd like to speak on this?
My name's Bob DeRozier. I live at 76R Middle Road. I'm actually the second house in the back.
Okay, I see it.
Yeah. You know, I moved here 25 years ago from Saugus. I love this area. And moved here with my folks. They've since passed. I'm here with my wife Ruth. And I guess I got a problem with putting a building on that land. And I guess it's for personal reasons that I've just gotten used to enjoying the privacy that I have in the back, enjoying the wildlife that we see, the deer, and I guess it's a selfish reason for why I'm asking for this variance not to be permitted. I wouldn't really know who Eli DeRocher is there he is. We might have met,
Yes, a
but
couple times.
I really don't see anybody. I kind of like living down off the dirt road, away from the road. And I'm the one who takes care of the snow plowing of that road. If they put in a dirt road, does that mean the town's gonna stop plowing?
It won't be a dirt
So,
road.
I don't know, I don't know if it's a proposed street or a
It would be a paved road, and the road would be maintained by the association.
private, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, well, I guess I ain't got a hell of a lot more to say, except that I kinda like the way things are down there. I've been there long enough to have say what I'm saying.
I got a question for you. So if we did approve it and there was something that they could do, just something small that might just make a difference, is there anything you can come to
I'm sorry,
mind?
sir?
Just something that might, whether it's putting up a arborvitae row of trees or a small fence, is there anything that would make it better, or does it matter at that point?
Snowplow job? Be a snowplow driver down the road?
I got a snowplow.
Oh, that's what I'm saying.
I've been taking care of it for 25 years.
Yeah, there you go.
I took care of Steve Stivic, who was the previous owner, and I make sure Jean, who lives up front, she really doesn't want to see anything built down there. I guess I'm stingy. I know they want to make some money on this. Who doesn't want to make some money? It's just a nice piece of area of Acushnet. I hate to see it get built on. So
Understood.
I don't really have much more to say, except that it's probably going to get done anyways, but I don't agree with the variance.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
If I may reply, Mr. Chairman, when Eli approached us, our charge was to look at the development of the property, and with or without the variance, this can be developed into multiple house lots. That road can be, it's a layout that's on paper.
That's kind of what I'm looking at is,
Yeah.
there can be multiple lots with a road. There's the acreage is there, it's just a matter of whether we want it to look like this or change ships. And again, there's not a ton of difference between the 141 and 150 feet. I do respect this gentleman's opinion. It goes down to the Acushnet River. It's a nice quiet piece back there, but we're not really charged with stopping or starting development, just making sure that it's done nicely.
We are.
Yeah, the housing has nothing to do with our board. I know we approved one a couple of years ago, but the planning board has taken over 55 and over. We're only looking at this at the 8-foot variance.
8-foot.
Yes, just for clarity, we're not asking you to approve any project. We're showing you our, all our cards.
Yeah.
We're showing
I appreciate
the butters what we intend to do. The concept is real, and the family would develop it themselves. This isn't an out-of-town development group coming in here looking to do, what they do. And this is subject to scrutiny by the planning board in the future. The abutters will be notified by certified mail. It'll be multiple public hearings. It'll be subject to peer review by a third party, another engineer looking at the drainage calculations. It'd be subject to BPW review of the utility layouts, subject to the Board of Selectmen for connection for the sewer and water, subject to the Conservation Commission, until multi-jurisdiction they have anything within the wetland resource areas as well as the stormwater permit.
Stormwater,
So this is really just step one of a multifaceted, long permitting process that, the project would get scrutinized, I'm sure, down the road.
Any other comments?
I do have one question for Mr. Desroges, is he called me about a couple months ago wanting to buy land off of me, and I was just thought that was kind of unusual. You didn't really tell me why you wanted some land. I wasn't interested in selling, but is there an answer?
Well, it does look like you own
Yes,
a
I mean-
whole nother parcel behind
Yes.
your other one, so the potential would be to develop more, I guess.
Well, I'll take that on. I'm the engineer. My job is to look at full build-out. And when you look at this, if the road's going to be built out, there is a dividing line. There's a parcel here which is separate from this parcel.
Yeah.
So there are actually 3 parcels here, and this parcel has...
That's what I see, yeah.
It was a concept that I threw out. Would there be able to be more units? Sure.
Well, actually, it's only one parcel. My land used to be 2 separate parcels. It is now just one parcel. It's 3 1/3 acres down to the Acushnet River. Used to be 2 when Frank Rummett lived there. He had one parcel as his business and then the other parcel where he lived. But it was made into one parcel.
I'm actually, I see the line, but I'm gonna agree with you because it does say lot 34A and 34B on both parcels on your map.
Yes, but I'm going to disagree respectfully. The assessor's map shows the Z line. Z line represents the assessors combining the lots under state law for the
Which
merger
we-
law,
we
which
can't
is
do
now,
now.
which is now been undone and thrown out
Yeah.
the window. It's the demerger law.
Yep.
So
Yep.
if the gentleman wanted to do something with it as a separate lot, he certainly could.
Yeah. I get
Well,
it.
I did talk to the building inspector at one time, to going back to the original. And he kind of made me sound like it couldn't be done. Not the gentleman I spoke with this afternoon.
Well, it couldn't be done until very recently.
Correct. Less than
The
a year
last,
ago.
the last building
state
inspector
undid what
couldn't
they
have
Oh,
done.
really?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
The state just overrode
Oh,
all the town's bylaws saying that they cannot merge your property, and if they merged it, I think it's 10,000 square feet,
Yep.
you can re-separate it.
wow.
That's
Well,
a brand new law passed by the state.
That's encouraging, thank you.
So it may be for sale.
Well, I still rather not see housing down there because, we got a nice
I
sunroom.
understand that group.
We overlook a beautiful piece of property. My neighbor on the left has sheep, it's open, he's got wooded land down there. More than half of my land is wooded, and the land next to me is all open. It's got a couple of outbuildings, all open and wooded down to the,
I agree
It's just a-
100%.
it's
So
just a big, beautiful piece of land.
So, again, is there anybody else who wants to comment on the frontage issue? Because that's the issue we're taking up here. Right now, there's 142 feet of frontage on this property. To develop it the way they're looking at developing it, they need 150. It could otherwise be developed anyways, but do we support allowing this type of development by giving them the 8-foot variance is the question at hand.
I'm making a motion to allow that 8-foot to go ahead to the next, they have a bunch of hills to climb in front of them after this anyways. This isn't like their only hurdle to jump over. So I make a motion. Okay.
Please, let's finish up with comments.
8.03 feet.
That's-
I understand.
I wouldn't want to be short.
Nobody else wanted
We know that. Is there anybody else who wants to speak, for or against? Got a room full, nobody wants to speak? Okay. So, I think we have most of the information. We have a motion to allow the 8.03 foot to be considered full frontage for development. Is there a second or any other discussion?
I'll second it.
There is a second. Now, having no further discussion, a motion and a second on the floor, I'll entertain a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
You have a question before you vote?
No.
You're an aye?
Yeah.
So, It sounded like you had an eye. I'm just gonna ask for a raise of hands one more time. Okay, so, sounds like the board has unanimously decided that the 8 foot isn't enough to hold you back from moving forward.
Thank you for your time.
Again,
No, not at all, Bob.
Okay.
I'm a good guy,
Because
you're a
it
good guy.
benefits
Okay.
the town.
Yes.
and it does.
I didn't know, but like,
Definitely.
I don't know about that.
what is, what do
And I will say, for the record, in my opinion, the reason I'm for it is because the town is begging for areas like this that are on sewer for the 55 and over.
but don't come with us, with a housing development and say, we're under the,
Correct.
so that was my.
Don't run away.
I know.
Yeah, so what we do, yeah. It's that Joel, I'm building a house, my uncle.
It's a little.
Well,
Can I just ask for a little more quiet while we close out?
My brother's Robbie, Rachel used to be.
I believe that concludes our business. Is there anybody else who has any more business before us this evening? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion a second, all in favor?
All right.